Thank you for joining me. This video may exceed my rule of remaining within 5 minutes, but I'll do my best to keep it under 10 minutes. The information I'll be sharing is important, so feel free to stop and continue later as your time permits. Before we begin, I am not an attorney or a consultant for condominium associations. I am a condominium owner who has tried to educate himself on the governing documents of condominium associations in Florida. In March, we'll have 2 annual meetings of the membership, the Riverbend Condominium Association and the Riverbend Golf Club. The purpose of these meetings is to elect or re-elect to the boards of directors and to conduct the business of the associations. What do I mean by the business of the association? As an example, let's say a member raises a motion to amend the bylaws. This motion needs to be seconded in order to proceed. The motion then goes to question. This is where we, the members, have an opportunity to discuss the body or subject of the motion. We do have the ability to raise a second motion to amend portions of the proposed amendment if we desire. Once all questions have been heard, the motion goes to vote. Here is where we, as the voting members, have an opportunity to vote at the meeting. In the case of an amendment to the Riverbend condominium bylaws, 75% or 234 voting members have to approve the amendment. Regular motions only need a majority of the members present to be approved. The golf club is different. Only a majority of the voting members present are needed to approve an amendment. We should understand the voting procedures of both Riverbend and the golf club as they vary slightly. For the golf club, a unit owned by more than one person, other than a husband and wife, has 1 vote. The person entitled to cast the vote for the unit shall be designated in a voting certificate, signed by all of the owners and filed with the Secretary of the Association not less than 10 calendar days before the date and time of the meeting. Where a husband and wife do not designate a voting member, and only one is present at a meeting, the person present may cast their vote. Where a husband and wife jointly own and do not designate a voting member, and both are present at a meeting, and are unable to concur in their decision upon any subject requiring a vote, they shall lose their vote. If a voting certificate is not on file with the Secretary of the Association at least 10 calendar days prior to the date and time of the meeting, the vote shall not be counted except to determine the quorum at any annual, regular, or special meeting of the members. For the Riverbend Condominium Association, the owner or owners of each condominium shall be entitled to 1 vote for each condominium owned. If the owner owns more than 1 unit, the owner is entitled to 1 vote for each unit owned. If a condominium unit is owned by more than 1 person, the person entitled to vote shall be designated in a certificate signed by all owners and filed with the Secretary of the Board of Directors of the Association. The person designated in the certificate, who is entitled to cast the vote for a unit, shall be known as the voting member. If this certificate is not on file with the Secretary of the Association for a unit owned by more than 1 person, the vote of the unit shall not be considered in determining the requirement for a quorum or for any purpose requiring the approval of a person entitled to cast the vote. One exception to this rule, if the unit is owned by a husband and wife. If a condominium unit is jointly owned by a husband and wife, the following 3 provisions are applicable. They may, but they shall not be required to designate a voting member. If they do not designate a voting member, and if both are present at the meeting and are unable to concur in their decision requiring a vote, they shall lose their right to vote. Where they do not designate a voting member and only 1 is present at a meeting, the person present may cast the vote. Okay, let's move on to the business that happens at a meeting. After establishing a quorum, a majority of the unit owners present and voting shall decide any question unless the bylaws, amended declaration of the condominium, or Florida law provides otherwise. Here is something to consider for a husband and wife designating a voting member. Should the voting member not be able to attend that meeting, the non-voting member may not be able to cast a vote during the business of the meeting. In that circumstance, it may be more beneficial not to have a voting member certificate on file for a husband and wife. In order to ensure your vote counts, come to a consensus before you vote. In order for either the golf club or the Riverbend Condominium Association to be able to conduct an annual meeting of the members, they must establish a quorum, present or present by proxy. The golf club differs from the Riverbend Condominium Association when establishing a quorum. For the golf club, unless otherwise provided in these bylaws, the presence in person, by proxy, or by ballot of 1/3 of the members total shall constitute a quorum. The term of 1/3 of the members' total votes shall mean the members holding 34% of the total voting members. For the Riverbend Condominium Association, unless otherwise provided in the bylaws, the presence in person or by proxy of a majority of the unit owners' total votes shall constitute a quorum. The term majority of the unit owners shall mean unit owners holding 51% or 156 of the votes. Should a quorum not be established, the election can continue. The results of the election will be read to identify who was elected to the Board of Directors. An election of the members of the Board of Directors, a quorum, is not required. However, in order to be able to conduct a meeting either at the golf club or the Riverbend Condominium Association, you must have a quorum. In the golf club, a quorum of 1/3 or 34% of the total voting members is required. The Riverbend Condominium Association requires 51% or 156 of the total voting members to establish a quorum. Here is where your proxies enter the picture. With both the golf club and Riverbend Condominium Association, the voting members present and the voting member present by proxy are counted toward establishing a quorum. Should you not be able to attend the annual meeting, to ensure we establish a quorum and have a vote at the annual meeting, you should complete the proxy form and return it to the Secretary of the Board of Directors along with your ballot prior to the meeting being called to order. The proxy form should be made available in the second notice of the annual meeting. Let's review assigning a voting member as your proxy. Before you complete, sign, and submit your proxy to the Secretary of the Board, you should strongly consider who you assign as your proxy. Who you designate as your proxy is as important as submitting your proxy. You should consider whether your proxy shares your passion. You should ensure you are in consensus with how your proxy votes. Finally, there are members who may seek you out and ask you if you are going to attend the meeting. If you're not going to attend the meeting, they may ask if you have submitted your proxy. If you have not submitted your proxy, they may offer you a proxy right there and suggest that time is of the essence and recommend you complete the proxy there. You may be asked if you have designated your proxy. If not, they may suggest you select the board member designated on the proxy. They may suggest that you sign your proxy now and may volunteer to take your proxy and present it to the Secretary of the Board for you. Think twice before doing this. Your proxy vote is important to the association and the golf club members. Your proxy will ensure the voting members' voices are heard when voting on business in front of the membership. When you assign your proxy to a member of the Board of Directors designate on your proxy, more than likely that person is acting in the capacity of and in the best interest of the board. A proxy vote for that board member may more than likely be a vote for the agenda of the board. Assign your proxy to someone you know and trust to vote in your best interest as an owner. And make sure that person plans to attend the meeting. and that your proxy is a voting member. Otherwise, your proxy will not be counted. Finally, you need to ensure your proxy will attend the meeting. If not, your proxy vote will be disqualified. In closing, this election of candidates to the Riverbend Board of Directors is an important one. Many believe change is needed at Riverbend. If you believe change is needed, the only way to see change is to vote and submit your completed proxy in order to establish a quorum for the meeting. A vote for candidates who are not members of the Board of Directors is a vote for change. A vote for candidates who are members of the Board of Directors is a vote to maintain the status quo. Let's make that change together. Make sure your vote counts. Attend the meeting. If you can't attend, complete and send in your proxy. Here are some dates to remember for Riverbend Condominium Association. On January 5th, the mailings of the 60-day notice of the date of the election was made to all owners. On January 26th, all members desiring to be candidates must give written notice to the office by this date. You will have until February 2nd to provide an optional one-page information sheet, no larger than 8.5 by 11, containing your qualifications and/or platform for office. This sheet will be mailed with a balance. February 1st, meet the candidates at the regularly scheduled board meeting. February 22nd, mailing of ballots and other documents to all the owners will be made by the Board of Directors. March 7th, that's the annual meeting and the election of the Board of Directors. The Riverbend Golf Club should be mailing their 60-day notice of the date of their election to all members shortly. I hope to see you all at the Riverbend Condominium Association's annual meeting of the membership. Thank you for taking your valuable time to view this video. If you have any questions or input, please add them in the comments section on the YouTube page below, or send me an email using my address at the bottom of the email. Take care, be safe, and be well.